Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. If you are new to our channel, subscribe, drop this video a like and get involved in the comment section down below. So we are approaching 8,000 subscribers, which is huge. So with your help over the course of the season, you're going to help us get there. So as quick as we get there, the better really. So if you can all hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like these videos and comment as well. It's highly appreciated from myself. So Villa were in action against Leeds United. Justin, what did you make of it?
I made it was very early in the morning. That was one thing I made. Crikey, Riley. Worth getting up for, though. I think it was. It's going to be a very worthwhile tour, isn't it? You can see the benefits already playing. A team in the Premier League. We've got another team in the Premier League to come, United, and then an Australian team who are all right, to be fair. They're not a terrible side, to be fair. But yesterday, I thought it was good. First half especially. Second half, you always tend to lose momentum because of the changes, don't you, in these games? But I think first half, it was excellent. Obvious plus points was Boubacar Kamara, who, for me, was just felt like he'd been a Villa player all his life, to be honest, because he settled in so well. He sprays the ball around beautifully. He reads the game so well. He's a presence, isn't he? He wants the ball all the time. He drops into the sort of back three, if you like, when we sort of are going forward. So it's a bit of extra protection, which is what we've been craving for so long. And he's a presence, isn't he? That's what we want. We want that presence in the middle of the park, and it allowed Douglas Luiz to be freed up and go to play in the 8, which is something I think we're all looking forward to seeing as well. I thought the keeper did really well as well. To be honest, I thought Olsen played really well. We conceded a few chances, but he never looked really like conceding, to be honest to him. So to have that backup goalkeeper of his quality, fully fledged international, played really well. A little bit disappointed Ollie Watkins didn't score when he had that one-on-one. I know he's been having these extra striker chances, but I mean, let's not be too harsh on him too early. I've seen quite a few people have given up on him already and on Twitter. But I think, you've got to give him this. It is pre-season, first game. Would have been nice to see him slot that one home, but he's got another 2 games to sharpen up before the season starts. And then second half, it was nice to see Aaron Ramsey get a game as well, and Josh Feeney as well. So these seem to be the next 2 that are going to be given their legs in the first team and see how they got on. Would have been nice to see Archer play, but I think that'll probably happen now in the next game. I think he might even get a start. I think he'll want to see him give him plenty of minutes. But I think for me, the player that looked like he was most up for it was Danny Ings. He looked really, really sharp. Something we spoke about last year when we had Wardy on. He knows him very well, and he said he's going to be bang up for it next season. And a lot of these players are going to get a full pre-season under the belts now with Villa, and that's going to send them in very good stead for the season. So for a first run out, we won the game as well. So can't really ask for any more. It's very hot. The training seems to be going very well. The bonding seems to be going very well. And we're off the mark and running. So, all looking forward to the next one now.
Yeah, and I'm with you on Kamara. I thought he was great yesterday. I really thought he was great. I thought what I really like about him is we used to call Conte like that Rolls Royce, didn't we? But Kamara there in that middle, like just when he like nicks the ball off players as well, doesn't he? Not just strong tackles. It's like just that little nick, and he'll nick it off the player, and right place, right time. But the ability to play the ball as well and move it around and pick the right pass. And I just thought he was class. And there was one moment where he sort of like he could have just passed it back to Matty Cash. It was just like an easy 2-yard pass. But he sprayed this ball to like Bailey, and I just thought, you know what, that's class. That is, because he didn't take the easy option, I think for a CDM, he's like a forward-thinking CDM, isn't he? He wants to get that ball moving forward as quick as he can, and I think I don't want to be negative towards Nakamura, but I think Nakamura wins the ball back, but he just doesn't have that quality what Kamara has, does he?
I think Nakamura struggles with his range of passing. I think he's very good when he's got the ball and he's won it, and he's got a bit of space, and he can generally find a man. But Kamara definitely seems to be at least one, or if not two levels above Nakamba in that department, because he does, like you say, he always looks for a progressive pass, and he's got the ability to pull it off as well. So, I mean, let's not forget he's 22. I mean, I know there was a lot of hype around him before we signed him, and saying, if we can get this guy, he's the real deal. He's the real deal. And then we were all sort of, wow, we've got him. But if I'm brutally honest, I didn't know a lot about Kamara. I know the hype. You know that when we link with a player, all of a sudden it starts to roll. Everyone says, yeah, he's a player, he's a player, he's a player. But I don't think I've seen, maybe I've seen him play once or twice, but now you can see, now you're going to start to see over the next 3 or 4 games, then when the season starts, the type of player we've signed. And I think a lot of them, you've picked up a good point there, this progressive passing, a lot of them were trying to pass the ball forward a lot quicker and a lot more direct. I'm not saying direct as in stupid long balls, but they were trying to, cut through the lines with incisive passing.
Snapping passes, weren't
they? Yeah. It was going through the lines, yeah.
I'll roll the ball to you when you're in trouble because I don't want it. It was literally like snapping passes into feet quickly. And I put a tweet, I retweeted a tweet earlier of like Gerrard ball. And, it was that one where we like played it into the box. There was a little bit of a back heel. And I just thought it was good play. That first half for me, I thought we played some real good stuff at times. And, you can sort of see what we were trying to do. And I think that is really important. You could physically watch the game and you knew the patterns of play and what we were trying to do, the areas we were working in, the shape of the team looked really good. So I think from that point of view, I thought it was really, really good, especially in the first half.
I also, a big shout out to Leon Bailey, who took a lot of stick last year. And I think a certain percentage of fans maybe even thought he could have been moved on this summer, because he maybe it just didn't work for him last year. But it looks like Gerrard's going to stick with him and keep faith with him, and just to start him as well. And I think he produced, if I'm honest, I think he produced a decent half of football. We know his attributes. He's very pacey. He's very tricky. He likes to get on the ball. He likes to create things. He likes to score goals. And that's what we want to see out of him. And in that position where he played, sort of right of the front three, if you like, he's got his sort of ability to do that. And I think he did. I mean, he set the penalty up. And I think there's a lot of chances for him next season to really, to really come good. A lot of the times that the players that come from abroad, they do take a bit of time to settle. And maybe he's just going to take that little bit of extra time to settle. And this extra pre-season, and get his injury problems behind him, and we could really see a top player emerge this season.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, I watched the Danny Ings interview, and he spoke about what a full pre-season can do. I felt like last summer, because Jack left quite late on, it was about a week and a half before the season started, and we brought in we had Bailey a couple of days before, didn't we? And we had Ings, and they didn't have that full pre-season with Aston Villa trying to, implement what we were trying to do. I think we had COVID was still around, weren't it? So it was half group, I don't know, whatever. But I think now, we're going to see the best out of a lot of our players. So let's move it on then to Brisbane Roar, our preview. We've got them on Wednesday. Other big news before we get into it, Ezri Konsa's back for the game on Wednesday.
Unbelievable.
I mean, when that first broke, it was like, Konsa is going to be, in and around September. But that sort of rehabilitation of his injury, whatever he's been through, it's been lightning quick, hasn't it? So to have him back as well now, we have got some questions from some of the viewers and listeners at the end as well. So we won't talk about Konsa too much because I have seen there's a question about the centre-back. So we'll get onto that in a bit. So Brisbane, what are you thinking then? Chance to win that little pre-season trophy. And, nice to play like a local team in Australia, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
They played well against Leeds. So what are you thinking then, Justin? What lineup are you edging towards? Who do you want to see?
Yeah, I think this is the big one for the club, isn't it? Because they're talking a lot about not just the fact that they're going over there to sort of start the season and bonding and training and all that, but it's about getting the name of the club out there. So to play a local side is very important. And this is the one we've picked. They're a decent side, like you say. They're okay in their domestic league. I feel he will go probably more youthful in this game to maybe start with. I know we're going to see 2 full teams anyway, so it's almost irrelevant really who starts and who doesn't. But I think, like I said, the likes of Archer, Timmy Rabunam will probably come in as well. Aaron Ramsey will get some more minutes. Josh Feeney will get some more minutes. And I think he'll shake it up a bit. He'll probably, the 2 sides that played the other day, Emi Martinez, we haven't seen yet, so I don't know why he didn't play the other day, but maybe that he decided to give the keepers a full game each, so he might, throw Emi Martinez in, or he might give him a few minutes and then save him for the Man United game. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the younger lads playing, because I think it's a good game for them to come in now and to get some experience, in the first team, as well as training with the first team squad. So it's, Archer, I'm looking forward to seeing. I really am. He's the one out of all the squad, really, even the signings, to be honest, that we're all buzzing to see how he progresses in this pre-season. And I think if he does have a good pre-season, I think he could be a part of the squad going forward. So I'm looking forward to seeing him getting some.
Yeah, it was interesting, trying to have a little snippet into some of the partnerships that played yesterday, maybe. I think we saw against Walsall, it was Mings and Carlos. Yesterday, it was Carlos and Chambers for, was it Carlos and Chambers yesterday, weren't it?
Second half, yeah.
No,
It was Mings and Chambers to start, wasn't it?
Yeah, so
And then he kept Chambers on.
Mings and Carlos, did they play this first bit?
No, Mings and Chambers started the
Yeah.
game. Yeah, and then it was Carlos and Mings in the
so
Chambers and Carlos, second half.
Them partnerships are interesting. It was interesting that the Luca Dean and Cash played the first half, didn't they?
No, it was Gilbert. Gilbert, wasn't it? That I was just going to say that. That was an interesting one. Gilbert, didn't he?
Did he come on second half, Gilbert?
No, I think he started, didn't he? I think he started the game. I'm sure he did.
I don't know. I can't remember. We've gone tits up with this bit, Justin. But
No,
yeah.
No, I'm sure it was Gilbert because it was nice to see him start, wasn't it?
And Bailey started as well, didn't he? So that
Bailey,
was good.
yeah. I thought it was really, really good.
So it'll be interesting to see what we go with. Oh, I'm with you. I want to see Archer start. I want to see.
I've got that wrong. It was Cash. You were all right. Yeah, so it was Cash started the first half, and then Gilbert, came in the second half. But as I was saying, I think it's important now that Gilbert's gone away for 2 years on loan, but we haven't seen a right back come in. So I do think with Gilbert and Kessler Hayden that they're now fighting it out to be the backup right back for next season. Because I don't see us bringing a right back in.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah.
So do you know what I want to see? Right, I want to see Sanson with Kamara and McGinn. That's what I want to see, because with Sanson, it's always stop-start. It's always bittings in it. And like yesterday, he weren't in our best midfield, was he, yesterday? And what I feel like with Sanson is, I always think he's just trying too hard. I don't know. I feel like he's trying to impress all the time, and he's not. It's just not natural. He's just not going out there relaxed. That's what I get when I watch him, because, I think he's a better player than what he shows.
100%.
And especially yesterday, like I was watching him yesterday, and I just thought, no, you're giving it away, and you're just like dwelling on the ball too much. And I just think, I don't know, I just think maybe if we had Kamara and McGinn and we just could see him for what he is in our best midfield, and we can make our mind up, because, again, we've got some questions in a bit about the midfield. So, we'll go into that. But what are you? I know you like Sanson, don't you?
I do. I really do. I think he's like you. I think there's a top player inside there somewhere, and one we haven't seen in a Villa kit yet. You see sporadic moments where you think, God, he's a player. He'll get the ball and he'll go past a couple, and he'll come out and he'll ping the ball out to the left hand side or something, and you think, yeah. And then I think the problem is he gets caught on the ball quite a lot, which makes him look worse than he actually is. And that's maybe because of his sort of languid, relaxed style. He's a big lad. He gets the ball. He's good on the ball. He's very technically solid as well. And he'll get the ball and he'll do something really good. And then someone will just nick up behind him and get the ball off him. You think, oh God, what, he's lost the ball now. Whether it's because when he signed, he hasn't ever really, like you said, grasped the shirt, and he hasn't really felt like he's 100% a Villa player, and he's constantly chasing to be accepted by maybe the manager or the fans. People haven't. Do you know what I mean? So he's constantly chasing this.
This point's important because when I watched Jacob Ramsey, his interview with his brother, he mentioned the exact same thing, and we said it on this podcast all along. When Ramsey last season, I never felt like Ramsey felt like, not last year, the year before, I never felt like Ramsey felt like he was part of the squad, part of the team, owned the shirt. It always felt like he was an academy player coming in, and that vibe, I get the same thing from Sanson. I don't think he believes that he's a part of the team. Do you know what I mean?
I think there's a crossover, isn't there? Now, whether you're coming up from the youth team or whether you're a new signing coming into the club, you have to get over that period of settling in and being accepted, if you like, not in a sort of a bullying sense, but in an accepted that, yes, you are a very good player. Yes, you are a part of this first team squad. And yes, you are an important part. And until you get over that little hurdle, you're constantly chasing the acceptance of everyone and the players and the fans and your teammates and the manager. And I think Sanson hasn't quite managed to do that yet. Like you say, Ramsey come through. We all thought, God, he's going to be a good player. Then he had a few games. Then he had a few more games. Then all of a sudden we thought, yeah, you know what? He's a good player, he is. And then he felt totally settled. So that allowed him to put that to the back of his head and just to concentrate on what he does. He's playing football. And then we saw a really good, a relaxed, really good season out of him. And Sanson just hasn't had that because he hasn't felt a proper part of the squad, I think. And it's a shame. It is a shame because I think, like I said, there's a player there. And I think if it doesn't work out for him, I've said this all along, he'll go somewhere else. And I think, like a few players that have left over the years, will go, oh, he's a really good player. He's really... He's solid. He's got a lot to offer, but we'll see. I mean, there was rumours, and there still is rumours of another 8 coming in, so that could actually totally put pay to him because you wouldn't think that would give him many minutes really. But we'll see. We'll see. He's had a half already in the first proper pre-season game, so we'll see what happens in the next 2. But it's up to the manager really over the next. Well, there's 3 more games left, isn't there, of the pre-season? So we'll see. We'll see how he does.
Well, Wayne Tolley has put to us, I think we really need another one, maybe 2 central midfielders. I know it's very early in pre-season, but Sanson looks way off the pace. I don't think he's cut out for the Premier League. I think he needs a loan with an option to buy. So Wayne sort of not feeling it.
Yeah, I think I don't think we need 2. I really don't.
No.
I think that's over-egging it. I think possibly 1 more 8. I mean, you look at the players that started in the centre mids. You've got Kamara, Louise, Ramsey, and then you had McGinn, Nakamba, Sanson. You've got Irabunum as well. You've got Aaron Ramsey as well thrown into that. So 2 young kids. They might very well go out on loan, possibly. We'll see what happens with those 2. And if they do, that still leaves us with 6 centre midfielders. We've got 2 6s and 4 8s really there, haven't we? Although Kamara can play in the 8 as well. So I think the only other midfielder I can see coming is another 8. And then what happens then to the 4 8s? So Louise, Ramsey, McGinn and Sanson are your 4 8. So out of the 4, I know you've got this contract situation still, going on with Louise, but he seems to be a really big part of the squad still after what we've seen the manager say about Chuck. So I'm hoping that can be resolved. And if it does, then you would think out of the 4, Sanson's the 4 guy, really, isn't he? I think he'd be the one that gets pushed out, depending on the quality of the 8. I mean, the way we've recruited now, and we seem to be recruiting, it's players that can come straight into the first team. So I think there'll be a few of them looking over the shoulders, to be honest, if we do sign an 8.
Yeah, definitely right. So Laurie Jones and Phil Locke are talking about the centre backs. So Laurie has put what you think centre back pairing will be for Bournemouth, and why has Neil Critchley stayed at Bodymore? Any insight? So I think Neil Critchley stayed at Bodymore because he's got an issue with his passport. So he's not been able to go on the Australian tour. I know Ashley Priest mentioned that yesterday. And Phil Locke's put best centre-back pairing. I'm liking Carlos and Chambers. Both can pass the ball without panicking. What I think about that Carlos and Chambers is the squad depth is very, very good at centre-back. So I think if one got injured, I'm totally, totally comfortable. I'm totally fine. I believe that the one that would come in would be more than capable of playing a number of games, 5 or 6 games. And that's the beauty of having a good squad. Do you know what I mean? Like, one of the days where you're like, oh my God, we got this one coming in now. What we're going to do? Do you know what I mean? So I think we're blessed with some very good centre-backs now, which is a massive, massive positive. Conser's back. So he's going to be back on Wednesday. So that is also really, really good. Probably going to be a few weeks away from starting games, I'd imagine, properly. So I would go with, for Bournemouth, if I had to pick a centre-back pairing of Mings and Carlos, that's what I would go with. Justin, what would you go with?
I agree. To be honest, it is great to see Concert almost back playing. It's nothing like signing a brand new centre half to bring your rehabilitation on, is it, in the pre-season? So I think that's helped him. I think we'll see Courtney House go because I don't think we need 5 centre halves, especially with the emergence now of Josh Feeney, who looks very accomplished as well. Who I think there's a lot of big hopes for.
Well, sorry to put in, Kamara can play there as well.
Yeah, I think if we had multiple injuries, then there's players there that can do a job, definitely. I think Matty Cash could probably fill in as well, to be honest, in a real bad. So I don't think we need 5 centre halves. We just don't. So I think House will go, and I think out of the 4 remaining, like you say, we're finally getting some of the positions in the squad now to a position where we want to be, where almost doesn't matter who plays because you're going to have a lot of confidence in all of them. And we're in a position which is great that whoever's playing well keeps the shirt. I think Gerrard's shown that if you do well and you stay in the side. I think Chambers has shown to be a phenomenal signing on a free transfer. Absolutely phenomenal. Every time I see him play, he looks composed, calm. Very, very experienced, good player, solid professional. Conser's levels did drop a bit last year, which is probably what rang the alarm bells for Gerrard, and which is probably what led to the Carlos signing. We all know that Tyrone Mings is a fantastic leader, but he has got this little error-prone in him as well, which is a shame. But I think hopefully, the signing of Carlos and the sheer competition now of places will help him really focus on his game next season as well. But I think given, like you say, that if Conser was 100% fully fit, it would be a very, very difficult decision.
It'd be harder to pick, wouldn't it?
But I think going into the season, I still think that it's Mings and Carlos will be that. They'll be the ones that walk out at Bournemouth first game of the season.
Me too. I think avfc Ed has put Conser's return from injury. Kamara during the first half of the Leeds game. If we need any more signings, I think he's just saying that they all played well. And Villa Rich has put, who else will we sign? So, Justin, what are you thinking? I'm not sure. What area we're actually going to be looking at now. I look at the squad and I just think I would like a central midfielder to come in, just to give us a bit of something a bit different, maybe like more of like a box to box type, but of a high caliber midfielder. That's all I want. Like someone to come in and like be right straight in that first team. That's what I'm after now. I don't want someone that's going to come in central midfield and it's like a Sanson vibe or a Dougie Luiz vibe where like they might play, they might not. You don't know who you're picking. It's rotation. I think if someone comes in central midfield, they've got to start. That's where I'm at with that. Striker wise, I see a lot of people saying we need a striker. Again, I think I'd love a striker to come in. I love strikers, but it looks like from what we've seen formation-wise in pre-season, it looks like it's one up top. It doesn't look like there's a 2. So I don't know whether he's just doing that because he don't want the 2 to play together in pre-season, but it looks like it's one up top this season. Do you need 4 strikers? You've got 5 subs. I don't think you need 4 strikers, do you? I mean, what are you saying, Justin?
I think we're nailed on to sign one more player at least. I think that's a centre midfielder and 8. I think he said that in that first quite long interview he gave at Bodymoor Heath when we came back. So I think that's almost nailed on if they can get the one they want. When you look at the makeup of the rest of the squad, I think the goalkeepers are sorted. We've signed Augustine at left back, so we've got cover there, especially with Ashley Young full-backs. Centre halves, we're overloaded, like I've just said, so I think one will be going there. Right back is the only other one potentially, but I think we've got Kessler Hayden and Gilbert that are going to battle it out. So unless Kessler Hayden goes out on loan and Gilbert just goes because they just don't fancy him, then there's a potential there for maybe a right back, but I just don't see the focus being there at the moment. Yeah. You got Ashley Young that can also fill in, and Cash is fairly. I don't want to tempt fate, but his injury record's pretty good. Midfield, we've covered that. We've got 2 6s now. I think there'll be an 8 coming in, and then the attacking sort of midfielder positions. We haven't seen Traore yet. I don't know how his future sort of ends up. I think we might see him in the next game. Looks like Bailey's going to stay. Obviously, Buendia and Coutinho. So we are pretty well stacked there in that attacking sort of role. Ramsey can play there as well if need be. We saw Aaron Ramsey play there as well the other day. So he probably sees him there. Strikers is the only other position. So you've got your first choice 2, which is Ings and Watkins, who are nailed on to stay now. And then you've got the 2 that are sort of behind him, which is Archer and Davies, who we didn't see either of them the other day. Davies had a fantastic loan at Forest and has obviously come back and been given the chance to have the pre-season with us. I think it all depends on what happens to those 2. Yeah. So they've got the next 2 games. They've got this little tour for them to make their minds up. Now, if Gerrard is absolutely more than happy with Ings and Watkins, which I sort of feel he is, and there isn't, I don't see us going out splashing £50 million on the centre forward. I just don't see that happening this summer. I think that's next summer's job. I think Ings and Watkins get this season to really nail, to say they can push us up to that top sort of 7 positions where we're aiming for now. And if they can't do it, they'll be replaced. One of them will be replaced next year, or both of them. I don't know. That's the big moves for next summer I see coming down the line. So it's just what backup we want to keep for those positions. Don't forget Leon Bailey can play as a 9 as well. So, it's what he wants to do with Archer and Davies, really. I think that's the big key for next season. So what we say, out of the 2, I see. Do you know what? Maybe keep both of them because they both offer different things, don't they? Davies, and with the 5 substitutes, you've got Archer can run and score goals. Davies can hold the ball up. So there's opportunities there for perhaps both of them to have the odd minutes here and there and be on the bench. So that keeps us with 4 forwards really. So I think that's probably enough, unless a really good cheap or a loan or a free transfer sticks his head up. I know there was lots of talk of the Suarez deal early on in the summer. That seems to have gone cold, although he hasn't signed for anyone yet. So, could that still be niggling in the background? I just don't know. I don't want to, trigger all the Twitter followers again. But that he hasn't gone anywhere yet. There's lots of rumours of him going here, there, and everywhere. But I'm not saying him, but that type of free transfer, really experienced top player that's available. Can't think of any others off the top of my head that could be available, but. So definitely an 8, and a doubt a right back, and a real, I'm not sure of a centre forward, but so 1 definitely, and another 2 possibly.
Cool. Right, I think that'll do us for today. About an half-hour little episode for you all to enjoy. So
heat.
Where are we then? So today's the 18th of July. So we have got about. Well, I'll let you know what the schedule is now then. So the week commencing the 25th is going to be the build up to the season. So we've got a good few episodes coming out week commencing the 25th. That's going to be our build up towards the season. So that's when the channel's going to ramp up a little bit. The following week is then going to be the week of the season starting. So you're going to get your standard match content from us. You're going to get your match previews, your match reactions, your fan cams, your predicted lineups. We've got another new feature, which is going to be starting as well. We've also made some tweaks to some of the episodes as well. So they're going to come across a little bit differently. So your match content is going to be ramped up from us as well. So I just can't wait to sort of like get back into it now. So I think we've got this week of a couple of pre-season reactions and maybe a transfer one if we can get one in there, if something drops of interest. But other than that, so next week is when our content will start ramping up a little bit. We'll go live as well on both of the episodes as well, so you can come and join us and have your say and get involved and stuff. So yeah, so I'm just glad that like this pre-season bit now is coming to an end. Do you know what I mean? Because it's hard creating content like this, isn't it, Justin? Because
Yeah.
you know, we go through doing like 9 months of like solid Villa content, and then you end up with like 2 months of like not knowing what's going on, don't you?
Yeah, it is a bit stop-start, isn't it? Especially because we now tend to do our business pretty early. So we had that real raft of sort of signings and lots of people being linked, and all of a sudden it went, "Ugh," dropped off a cliff. And then you're waiting for them all to come back after the holidays. But it's definitely ramping up now. So I'm looking forward to the new season. It should be a real belter.
Cool. So thanks everyone for watching, and we'll speak to you all soon.